The road to Blackwood Hill was quiet and empty. Tall trees lined both sides, their branches bending in the cold night wind. At the end of the road stood an old, broken house that the locals called the Whispering House. For years, people in the small town avoided it. Some said they heard voices coming from inside. Others claimed shadows moved behind the windows even though nobody lived there. But Maya Carter, a young journalist, didn't believe in ghost stories, she believed in facts. And tonight, she planned to prove that the rumors about the haunted house were nothing more than small-town fear. Maya parked her car near the rusted gate and stepped out. The air felt colder here. The house stood in front of her like a giant dark silhouette against the moonlight. Broken windows stared down like empty eyes. She switched on her flashlight and spoke into her recorder. October 14th, 10:08 p.m. I'm standing outside the abandoned house on Blackwood Hill. Locals claim the house is haunted by a family that disappeared here 25 years ago. The wind suddenly pushed the gate open with a loud creak. Maya smiled nervously. Or maybe it's just old metal, she muttered. She walked up the cracked stone path and pushed open the front door. Dust filled the air as the door opened. The house smelled old and damp. Her flashlight revealed a living room frozen in time, broken furniture, torn curtains, and picture frames hanging crooked on the walls. Then she noticed something strange. Family photographs. A man, a woman, and a little girl. They looked happy. But every photo had scratches across the father's face. Interesting, Maya whispered, taking a picture. Suddenly thud. A loud noise came from upstairs. Maya froze. Probably a raccoon, she said, though her voice was less confident now. She walked slowly up the staircase. Each step groaned beneath her feet. Halfway up, she heard it. A whisper, soft, almost like someone speaking through the walls. Help, Maya turned quickly. Hello. No answer. Her flashlight flickered. Then the whisper came again. Help me. Her heart started beating faster. Okay, she said quietly. This is definitely getting creepy. Upstairs she found a bedroom that looked untouched for years. On the floor were children's toys, a doll, a music box, and on the wall, a drawing done by a child. It showed the house. But under the house was something else, a dark tunnel. Suddenly Maya heard a clicking sound behind her. She turned. The bookshelf beside the wall had moved slightly. Curious, she pushed it. The shelf slid aside, revealing a hidden door. Now this, Maya whispered, is a story. Inside the small hidden room were stacks of old newspapers and a dusty journal. She opened one of the newspapers. The headline read, Local family vanishes without trace. 25 years ago, the Morgan family disappeared overnight. The father, Daniel Morgan, was blamed for killing his wife and daughter before fleeing. But no bodies were ever found. Maya opened the journal. The handwriting was messy. Panicked. I know what they did. One entry read. They think I'll stay quiet. They're coming tonight. Then the final line. If something happens to us, the truth is beneath the house. Maya felt a cold chill. Beneath the house, the basement door was locked. But the old lock broke easily. The stairs creaked as she went down. The air smelled like dirt and rust. Her flashlight beam moved across the room until it landed on something disturbing. Bones, human bones. 3 skeletons buried under the dirt, Maya gasped. Suddenly the basement door slammed shut upstairs. Her flashlight flickered wildly. And she heard footsteps, slow, dragging, coming from the darkness behind her. Maya turned slowly. A small figure stood near the wall. A little girl. Her dress was torn, her skin pale, her eyes glowing faintly in the darkness. But she didn't look angry. She looked sad. The girl slowly raised her hand and pointed toward the far wall. The dirt there had collapsed, revealing a narrow tunnel. Maya crawled through it. At the end she found another room filled with boxes. Inside were documents and photographs, photos of town officials meeting secretly. Illegal deals, bribes, evidence of crimes hidden for decades. Daniel Morgan had discovered the truth, and the town leaders had silenced his entire family. Suddenly the whisper returned, but this time it wasn't frightening. It sounded relieved. Thank you. Maya looked back. The ghost girl stood beside the skeletons. Next to her appeared the spirits of her mother and father. They slowly faded into the air. The house became silent. For the first time in decades, the next day, Maya published the story. The town was shocked. Police reopened the case. Several powerful people were arrested, and the Morgan family was finally given justice. Weeks later, Maya drove past Blackwood Hill one last time. The house looked peaceful now, no whispers, no shadows. Just an empty building in the sunlight, but as she drove away, one window upstairs slowly opened, and a faint voice carried through the wind. "Thank you." Maya smiled, and kept driving. 3 months had passed since Maya Carter exposed the truth about the Morgan family murders. The story had spread across the country. The corrupt town officials were arrested, and the whispering house on Blackwood Hill was finally sealed off by the police. For the first time in decades, the house was supposed to be quiet, but some stories never truly end. One night Maya sat in her apartment working on another article when her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. She answered, "Hello." For several seconds there was only silence. Then she heard it, a whisper, soft, familiar. Maya, her heart stopped. It was the same voice she had heard inside the house. "Come back." The call suddenly ended. Maya stared at her phone. The call location read, Blackwood Hill. The next evening Maya drove back to the hill. The police tape still surrounded the property, but something felt different. The house looked darker than before, almost alive. As she stepped closer, the front door slowly opened by itself. The wind wasn't strong enough to move it. Still, Maya walked inside. The moment she stepped into the living room, the temperature dropped. The air felt heavy. The peaceful feeling she had sensed the last time was gone. Instead, the house felt angry. Her flashlight moved across the walls. The photographs she had seen before were gone. In their place were deep scratch marks carved into the wood. Then she heard footsteps above her, slow, heavy, not like a child. The whisper returned, but this time it sounded desperate. "Help us!" Maya ran to the basement. The door was already open. When she reached the bottom of the stairs, her breath caught in her throat. The skeletons were gone. The ground where they had been buried was empty. Something had taken them. Suddenly the tunnel wall cracked loudly. The dirt collapsed, and a hidden chamber opened behind it. Inside the chamber was a large stone symbol carved into the floor. Old candles surrounded it, and in the center lay the bones of the Morgan family. Someone had moved them here. Footsteps echoed behind her. Maya turned. A tall figure stood at the top of the basement stairs. It was Mayor Collins, one of the men arrested months ago. But he was supposed to be in prison. His face looked pale and twisted. His eyes were completely black. "They never should have told you," he said slowly. Maya stepped back. "You're dead," she whispered. He smiled. "Yes." Collins began to laugh. "Those men you exposed. They weren't just criminals, they were protecting something." He pointed to the symbol on the floor. "This house sits on an old ritual ground. We made a deal with something beneath it. The Morgan family discovered the secret. So they had to die, but when the truth came out, the ritual broke. And now the thing beneath the house was waking up." The floor started shaking. Cracks spread across the stone. From the darkness beneath came a deep growling sound. Suddenly bright light filled the basement. The spirits of the Morgan family appeared again. But this time they were strong. The father stepped forward. "You will not hurt anyone else," his spirit said. Collins screamed as the spirits surrounded him. The dark shadow beneath the floor pulled him down into the cracks. His scream echoed until it disappeared. Then the ground closed again. The house began to shake violently. Maya ran upstairs as pieces of the ceiling fell. The front door burst open. She barely made it outside before the entire house collapsed in a cloud of dust. Blackwood Hill became silent. Where the whispering house once stood, there was now only rubble. As the dust cleared, Maya saw 3 glowing figures standing near the ruins. The Morgan family. This time they looked peaceful. The little girl waved. Then the spirits slowly faded into the night sky. The hill became quiet again, for good. Months later, the land where the house once stood was turned into a memorial park. Children play where fear once lived. But sometimes, late at night, the wind carried a gentle whisper across the hill. Not a warning, not a cry for help, just a soft voice saying, "Thank you."